How do you know when you've finished editing? That's the topic I'm addressing today with the right question. I'm Daphne Gray Grant, the publication coach, still in pandemic mode. I have a question from Leanne Zara, a writer based in San Pedro, the Philippines. Here's what she's asked by email. I often ask myself if what I've written makes sense, even after several revisions. Thus, at what point should a writer be satisfied, for lack of a better word, with the edited version of her or his work? Thanks for your question, Leanne. You've hit on a really important point here, and I have two suggestions for you to consider. My first is to follow a process for editing. Don't just read and reread your text with the vague intent of making it better. That is a totally dysfunctional and thoroughly inadequate way to edit, and it's only going to make you feel even more insecure. I've written a number of posts on the editing process, and I include links to them in the show notes below. As a summary, though, understand that you'll need to do at least two different and distinct types of editing. The first is called substantive or developmental editing. This focuses entirely on content. When you're doing this type of edit, you focus on questions like, have I made my point persuasively enough? Have I given enough evidence? Have I presented my material in the best possible order? Have I given too much information and perhaps confused the reader? This edit does not care about spelling mistakes or grammar. It focuses on meaning. It addresses what you're trying to accomplish with your writing. You may be more familiar with the second type of editing. It goes by the name copy editing or line editing. Here you're looking at spelling and grammar, of course, but you're also considering deeper, more specific issues. Word choice, sentence length, repetition, passive voice. You can get software to help you with copy editing. I highly recommend ProWritingAid, link in the show notes below. I'm not a reseller of this program, so my recommendation is free from bias. My second suggestion is to ensure a long period of incubation before you start editing. What do I mean by that? Take a break from that piece of writing and ignore it for as long as you can. If you edit too soon after writing, you won't have nearly enough perspective to be a good self-editor. I've written a detailed blog post on the value of incubation, and I include it in the show notes below. Being an effective self-editor is a crucial part of being a good writer. Even if you're lucky enough to have an external editor, it's a smart idea to do a strong self-edit first. This way, your material will be in the best possible shape before you submit it to someone else. Finally, let me wrap up with a quote from the best-selling writer Charles Finch. The single greatest ally we have is time. There's no page of prose in existence that its author can't improve after it's been in a drawer for a week. Every time I finish a story or book, I try to put it away and forget it for as long as I can. When I return, its problems are often so obvious and easy to fix that I'm amazed I ever struggled with them. Leanne, writers are notoriously bad judges of the quality of their own work. They tend to either overestimate or underestimate its value. The only way to cope with this challenge is to have a well-defined editing process and to use the tincture of time to help. If you'd like to learn more about how to make your writing a happier and more rewarding process, check out my latest book, Your Happy First Draft. It's not available in bookstores or on Amazon. The only place you can get it is my website. Link below and in the show notes.